Okay, what's up? Um, I've got some stuff. I've got some stuff here. In particular, yeah, there we go. In particular, I have to check some. I have to look into some stuff. And so I don't know, like, there may or may not really be a lot to do, but I don't know, we'll see. Basically, I don't have it written on this little to-do list here, but I do have it. I did have a Milla note, and I think I wrote it down there. I think so. Yeah, I did. And there's still 1.8 integrations. So there's not like a lot. I could like crank this out and have like something for a 1.8 release, but I'm not like super sure if I want to like follow through with releasing it with like just these, or if I want to try and do something else. I might just do this because we've got two very important mod compats with electro blobs and tech guns, and we also have there's a couple other things we can look into. But the main thing I want to look into, and the main reason that this would be such a thing, is an issue that was released, or an issue that was posted on this thing. There was a crash. Specifically with the way DDD does combat calculations. And it's very specific. Where is it? And it should be, in theory, decently easy. I think it's under the combat calculations. Yeah, right here on the supply new armor modifier. Look at that. And we apply a new armor modifier. Now, is the thing. There's like all this is fine, but what happens is that if we apply a modifier that already exists, it crashes because there's already a modifier of the same UUID and it won't overwrite it. And so what I want to have is I want to have some kind of stack where I can push these modifiers onto the stack, and then whenever a new context comes along, I can like push a modifier on and then like pop it off. And since these calculations are like just being done and processed, I don't need to save any of that information. I don't need to write any of that information to disk, which means it doesn't matter. All I need is a way to associate whoever has the combat tracker with the modifications that they should get. And we do that by slapping that onto the combat tracker. Because each person is going to have a combat tracker. Which means these, like, apply armor modifiers stuff should go to... It should it should be on the combat tracker. And then it will apply that. Right? And then we also need, and I believe this has the combat context. Yeah, this is a combat context. So we need a stack. We need a stack for the combat context, and we need a stack for the armor mods. And I guess we inherently... do we need a stack for the armor classification too? And the incoming damage? Probably, right? We need a stack for, like, all of this stuff. We need a stack for this, and this, and this, and this. We need a stack for everything. And this is under capability implementation. So we basically just need records of, like, all of this stuff, the stuff that persists, and then we, like, pop it, right? And then getting all of this information just gets it from the current calculation. Right, so I probably want a nested class in here. I put it in, we just kind of do all of that, and then it pops it, right? So whenever the context is set to null is probably the time where we pop it. If there even is a situation where that happens. The context is never set to null. No, it should be, right? On clear or something, isn't there a clear thing where it does that? Wipe results. Oh, that set combat context null. Right. On clear, that's when we should pop? Not really. We should pop when we're done the calculation. But we need to keep the recent results. Something like that. Yeah. Well, I guess I don't need to say it's 0. It's gonna default to that. What is this? The modifier has a delta, right? New attribute modifier. I guess it's just a stack of floats. Huh. Anytime I need to use a collection and I need to like auto box primitives, it annoys me that I don't have like primitive stacks. Like there's no float stack, there's just float. I mean there is this, but I don't know. It probably doesn't matter. This would just be a stack of the modifiers and stuff. So I probably, well, okay. Yeah. No, just give me a regular stack. And then just do this and have this be toughness mods. Like this is 100% needed. Alright. This requires a combat context. Right? And then what? You just complain that you're not used? Yeah, whatever. That's fine. Can you generate, bro? Oh, come on. Now, out of these, which ones do I need? Get type, set type, definitely. Get damage, set damage. Get context. Definitely need that. Set armor classification. Get armor classification. Set results. Get results. What does a result builder even build? What do you build? You build combat results, right? Yeah, you build combat results. Right, so this is what I keep. Whenever I call this, I just keep it. But the question is where... Yeah, okay, so the combat tracker does have a get recent results. So I just need a private combat results get recent results. Or, what am I saying? Last results. Right, and then this, where we get recent results, does it, like, build it? Yeah, which is kind of dumb. Return this dot last results. And then last results should default to combat results dot no results. Just so we have that to begin with. Handle damage stage, right? Because it says this dot results dot with amount. And then this on the right, see, like, right after we're done with the damage stage, we should be building it anyway, because we're gonna immediately be referencing it. So I want to do this dot last results equals results dot blah, this dot results dot build. Okay, now where is this even called? Because this is called in attack entity from, right? So in entity living base. So where is attack entity from? There we go. So we have on living attack. And then it comes through to here. Knockback. Right, because it does this, and then it calls a living knockback event. I just realized I didn't want to do that. Attack entity from... We have the living attack. Where's the living damage? It's probably under, oh, I don't know, damage entity. Wow, who would have thought? It's almost like I need to mix into this. Because right after this is done, that's when we should pop it. Right, because if on damage there's another call, then it should go through this again, push another calculation onto the stack. I need to know when the calculation is done. I need to establish, oh, this calculation is done. You could say that the calculation is done on knockback, but knockback doesn't always happen, right? And so if knockback doesn't happen, then that doesn't make sense. But the calculation definitely isn't done here. Or is it? At the end, is calculation done? I mean, yeah, I guess so, because the most recent results, we get the recent results, and we only care about that. We're not even using the combat tracker at this point. Well, I mean, we're getting the combat tracker, we're not using anything from the combat tracker. So I think we can pop the calculation here. I think that's when we can do it. We just have to get the combat tracker again, or I would do it a little differently. I would get the combat tracker and then do that. And now it depends. Then we also need to establish like when a new combat calculation is established. And we'll figure that out. For now, though, we have built it. I guess if we update the context and damage, and the incoming damage is not null, and the amount is not this, but the context doesn't match. If the context does not match, then it's probably a new calculation. That makes sense. And also here, right? Yeah, okay. And then I need a stack. What is this? What are you doing? All right, and then what I need to add some stuff to this interface, probably. What does the stack extend? Oh, it extends vector. Really? What is a vector? The vector implements a list. Wow. I should probably put this in damage calculation lib, because it is, oh, I don't know, damage calculation. Wow, that almost makes sense. And now this has to be public. That's for sure. Re-import the right thing. I can make an armor modifier. I don't know if I want to extend. I might implement. I think I can implement pair. Do I have pair? No, I don't. Okay. I can extend tuple then, I guess. Or maybe it's better to not extend. Yeah, maybe it's better not to. I don't know if I want to store just the floats. Or should I store the entire thing? I don't know. If I store the floats... Hmm. The combat calculations, where do you set this? We already have the armor values. Oh, we have the armor values. Oh, it's just an armor value. Right, I don't need... I don't need this. Because I have something that stores this. This is just gonna be a private stack. Armor values. This is the more important thing. Look at this. We definitely want to set that to that. A type last hit by. Currently use shield distribution, new delta armor values. I think I need that though. Because this gets wiped, right? Well, it gets reset there. Is that even what this is? Any equipment select armor values, yeah. And then I also need the incoming damage. Did I have regular damage? I did. But I need incoming damage. I need the damage map, too. What else do I need from this? I have that, 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 I have that. The damage classified. I probably need that here too. I mean, I guess I can put this. Hello? There we go. We don't need that. We need to have this. I think the other things are null too, right? Oh, armor classification isn't set. Fascinating. Shield dist is, though. You're set to null. And incoming damage, you also set to null? You are set to null as well. And I guess this is also set to null. Yes, it is. So you're null, you're null, you're null. The context is technically null, but we don't define this with that ideology. Okay, so now damage classified. This thing, where is this referenced? Incoming damage is we classify the damage here, and then we set it. I don't think there's any other instance where we set it. Well, okay, but where are you used? Where are you used? Clear. I see. I might just, I mean, clear is gonna be different, right? So that's fair. It's cleared here on attack. That might not be necessary. Huh, real thinker. I don't want to like mess any of this up. So I know that this is going to be deprecated. And this is deprecated. And this is deprecated. And this is deprecated. And that's deprecated, and that's deprecated, and that's deprecated. That's all deprecated. Actually, that might not be deprecated. This is also deprecated as well. Hmm. Like, these things are deprecated because we just have to get the most recent calculation. And since we always handle a stage whenever we're dealing with it, like whenever we're doing this, it's like, oh, we're just handling the damage stage. I mean, that's fine, that can be managed. I want to know a call hierarchy of get combat tracker. That's fine. I need to change this. Are you the only place where this is called? Yes, you are. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't know if I don't need that. I probably don't. I don't think I need that either. I need those three. This I probably need. This I probably don't. That I also don't need. That I don't need. Because I believe this is only called within nothing. Beautiful. Now, do I have everything here? I think so. I just need to set getters and setters for everything now. Oops. Don't need... I removed the get... Oh, because gets results builder. Yeah, I don't need these things. And I probably don't need to set that. Neither do I need that. And I probably don't need this for the damage map. Well, okay, the get incoming damage, but set incoming damage I probably don't need either. I don't know if I need more than that, but we will see. Give me 1 second. I will be right back. Alright, sorry about that. I'm good. Peak doesn't... yeah, it doesn't get removed. Good. Good, good, good. Alright. And that might be useful. I don't know. Maybe this isn't to be taken out here, right? Okay, so it's just this. Yeah, I thought that was deprecated. I guess its implementation is not technically deprecated. Alright, if it's empty, then I'm going to push a new damage calculation onto the stack. And the context is going to be this fella right here. Let's actually move this out here. Because I would like to push that. And then do calc dot get results builder dot with starting damage amount. That's basically what we gotta do here. And then we do calc dot set damage amount. else if this dot calculations dot peak dot get incoming damage. If that's not null, and the amount is not okay. I have a cooked idea. Damage calculation calc, right? Like leave this like this, right? And then just have it be like that. It's like, oh, well, what's the point? Because now I can do calc equals, and I can set it to this. And now I can actually compare this to calc dot get damage without having to peek from the stack again. And calc dot get context dot context matches. There we go. This would be calc dot get damage. Adjusting damage. Current new. Shouldn't I also set the damage to that? Why didn't I? I guess it doesn't really matter? Calc dot get incoming damage dot distribute damage to current types amount. So if it's non-empty, we'll peek on the stack, we'll get the current calculation, we'll check to see if the incoming damage is not null. If the incoming damage is not null, and the amount is not the same, right? Then in that context, we want to check to see if the context matches. If the context doesn't match, we don't care about this, right? If the context matches, yeah, that's all we care. That's all we care about, actually. All we actually care about is, whoops. All I actually care about is if this is true. do this. Calc equals this dot calculations dot peak dot get context dot context matches source attacker. If that is true, then we have to break it down a little bit more. And say if you know, this whole thing, calc dot get incoming damage, if that's not, oh my goodness, if that's not null, and the amount is not calc dot get damage, then we can do all of this. And probably calc dot set damage to the new amount as our new reference point. What are you bitching about? What do you mean? Are you high? You're damn straight you're high. Defining the closing scope must be final or effectively final. Kill yourself. Fine, we'll set it to a reference like that. Right? And then if the incoming damage is null, but the context matches, then, like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just keep going. And if the context matches and the amount is the same, then don't bother doing anything. Right? But then we have another else here. We're gonna create a new, we're gonna nest a new calculation because we've peaked, the context does not match. Which means we were trucking along with a certain calculation, and then at some point it was like, what? We're not on fire anymore, we're getting hit by a cactus? But we're not done our fire calculation. So, you know, we're just gonna keep going. Now, if it gets canceled, then DD doesn't finish its calculation, and DD doesn't finish the calculation. And then it would keep that on the stack. I mean, I guess there's always the idea of, like, checking to see if, like, a certain amount of time has passed since like it last took damage, and then if so, just clear it. There could be, like, an argument could be made for that, but an argument could also be made that it doesn't matter. But at the same time, I probably want to keep it nice and clean. All right. Either way, we're gonna push a new damage calculation. I probably want a private method for pushing it. and make a new combat context. Combat context. Source, amount, attacker, this dot, get fighter. Boom. Right, and now we push that. This dot calculations dot push. Push the calc. And then calc dot get results builder dot with starting damage amount. And then calc dot set damage amount. Right. So now I don't need any of this. This dot push new damage calculation. And then we do the same thing here. This dot push new damage calculation. Because it's just gonna be, we're just gonna be doing the same thing. All right, and now everywhere where we have all these red strike throughs, we gotta replace it with the utilization of the most recent damage calculation. Now, there is an argument to be made to use this to simplify some stuff, and I probably will. This is deprecated, right? Yeah, that's deprecated. This is deprecated too. This is deprecate. This deprecate. This deprecate. This. We don't need to care about the stuff that's deprecated. We need to care about this. Okay, actually, let's rewind over to here. To here. This dot get current calculation dot map. Or I guess I could flat map. No, just map. No. Flat map. Because it might be null. Or will it actually return null if it... Hold on, it might return null. Map this to damage calculation, get shield dist. Boom. So does this wrap it? And if the result is non-null, return an optional describing result. If the value is present, so there is a recent calculation, and the result is non-null, so there is a shield dist, then we'll return an optional containing the shield dist. Otherwise, we're going to return an empty optional. An optional describing the result of applying map function. Blah, blah, blah. What is out file if one exists? Okay, yeah. So see, that's brilliant. We don't need this anymore. We just do that. I could probably do the same thing here, where we return this dot get current calculation dot map to damage calculation get armor. Now, if the context is not null, Now, where is this used? Open call hierarchy. It's used in damage calculation, combat tracker, combat tracker, combat tracker. Yeah, huh? Okay. I need to then I guess if it's empty, then there can be no thing, right? So we could just map it by doing return this dot get current calculation dot map it. Well, I guess filter? No, because if I filter by this, then that's not gonna work. So we actually need to full on map it. Calc will map to a complex procedure where we're gonna check if calc dot was damage classified. I guess we want not. If it was not classified, then calc dot, I could just wrap it there. What do you mean I can't? All right, well, whatever. Thing. Go here. Classify. Public void. Classify damage. We're gonna just move that into here, which is going to be, where are you? You're over here. And classify damage. Right, so this dot incoming damage equals combat calculations. Combat calculations dot classify damage, and we pass this dot get context, which absolutely exists, dot or else null, and then we set this dot was damage classified to true. Which means, again, there's no need to set the incoming damage. And there is no set, because that makes no sense. Okay, so if the damage was classified, then we return calc dot get incoming damage, which could still be null, but that's fine. Otherwise, we return, well, otherwise, oh, we do it regardless. I see. If it wasn't classified, we put that there, and then here, I want to do a calc.classify damage. Boom. Right, and this basically encapsulates all of this stuff. Right, because if the context is not null, then we do all of this stuff, and then we return an optional describing that result, which is the same as returning this. And since we've mapped it, it's null. And then otherwise we return optional.empty, which is the same as the, yeah, we don't need this. We don't need this anymore. Isn't that brilliant? And then I think we need to do the same thing here, where we return this dot get current calculation, map it to damage calc dot get armor classification. Awesome. We are getting there. The get damage reference, that is deprecated. I don't even know if it's used anywhere. It absolutely is not. Set used shield distribution. Where are you used? No, you. Where are you used? You're used in clear. Right, okay, we'll deal with that. And that's used in clear too. And that's used in clear, and that's used in clear. And that's used in clear, I believe, as well. Yeah, that's used in clear. That's used in clear. That's not used in clear. I don't think this is used anywhere anymore. It's not. And that's used in clear as well. Lovely. Love that for you. So now we do this dot get current calculation. Well, do we need to? It should be private, actually. So if we know, right, because we've updated the context and the damage, it exists, right? What if the update context and damage returned the calculation that was being used? That makes a lot of sense. Because this would return the thing, this would return the thing, and this would return the thing. Or like either way, if we go through this route, we have a thing on the stack. If we go through this route, we have a thing on the stack. If we go through this route, we have a thing on the stack. So just return a damage calculation. Return calc. Set calc to this. Set calc to this. Return calc. What do you mean? Oh, wait, yeah, because we gotta set this to a damage calculation. Now, I don't even need this unsafe call thing here. Instead, I go down here, I set damage calculation calc to this. And then I do calc dot, what are you doing? I didn't say do any of that. Set shield distribution. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. And that's fine because we're not like change it or whatever. We would never change it. Now, can't I just do calc dot get incoming damage? Get incoming damage. That makes a lot of sense to me. And then we have to do calc dot. Have to do calc dot get context dot get shield dot get. And we need I need a thing for this. So that I can just do context. And I basically just have to get rid of this in front of everything. If it's not null. And then we'll set it to the incoming damage. And then if it's not null, then we'll do stuff with it. And we do the shield calcs on the current context. I mean, I guess I could just do damage map equals this thing, right? And then just go from there. I could probably just do that. And then context here, and then we pass in DMG, and we pass in the shield. And then we need and we need that too. So the only call of this here is, well, I'm gonna double check every line here. Calc.get context. So every context, right? So there's no this dot context. There's no this dot context on this entire line. The only call to this is this dot get fighter, which is fair. And there's no like, yeah, like I need to look at all the calls to this. That's what matters. And the only calls to this here are to this dot fighter or get fighter. Same thing. Same thing. Now I don't know if I need the clear here or if I want the clear here or whatever. Probably don't, because I don't want to clear it. Update context and damage, we do that. If the incoming damage is not empty, we get the currently used shield distribution. But, like, we have the calculation, right? The thing is that here, this might not exist. So it does kind of make sense to just do this and this. But we know that the calculation exists. So mapping it to this, well, I mean, for this, we kind of do want to map it, which actually does beg the question. Because we want to classify it and stuff. So this actually should be this dot get incoming damage. And or else null, I guess. Or better yet, we just do this. And then we just want to check if this dot get incoming damage dot is present. Then we can set damage equal to calc dot get incoming damage. That's what we want to check. And we want to leave this here as well for the same reasons of, like, classification could occur here. Which means I want to change this to get classified damage. Because the damage is classified at this point in time. I will go to here and we'll make this optional. Because now I want to know where this is used. Oh, it's used in the set fire. I don't know if I still. Hmm. It might need to. It might need to remember the last used shield distribution. So we go into here, we get the creature type, blah blah blah. And there's this, where I mean the clear would have eliminated it, right? Yeah, it clear eliminates it. I don't know. I don't know if it will modify the fire ticks if I pop it right afterwards. It should though, right? Yeah, it should. Hmm. Let's like a type hierarchy and quickly check. Entity living base, entity living, entity creature, I guess. Entity mob, entity zombie. You are the one where it matters. Attack entity from. Attack entity as mob. You see, that's going to be a problem. Because we have attack entity from. Because I need to pop that calculation off the stack, but I need to remember the last shield distribution used, but I only need to remember it for about 300 ticks or so. Right, because the zombie sets fire after the calculation is done. So I either need to remember it for a bit, or that calculation needs to exist. I need to like determine the context in which it should get popped off the stack. Oh my gosh, this is tricky. For now, let's just do calc dot get shield dist if present. Just do that. I don't know what we're doing with this. Then we need to do calc.set type to this dot type. Get context, get shield if present. We damage it based off of all this stuff. I need to do calc dot no, what are you doing? get results builder dot build dot get shield ratio dot get us double. We want to build this results right now. We're not going to set the recent results to that because we just need to get that shield ratio. What is your problem? M cannot be resolved? What do you mean M can't be resolved? Why the heck not? Oh, wait, maybe I do need that. Yeah, I do. Okay. And then if M is not empty, shouldn't it not be empty? I guess maybe it could be. After blocking the damage, I guess it could be empty, right? So leave that. And then if we're doing armor calcs, we need to do calc.context. Maybe I should just do this here. And then just wherever this is relevant, put a context, which would be there. We don't do it there, but we do it here. And then here we do calc dot set armor classification to classified. Don't need that now. And then we get all the damaging types. And then for each armor map, we remove the type. If it's not there. Right, because for each armor map in this thing, for each armor map in the armor classification, open it. For each armor map, right, there's an armor of the distribution effectiveness and the distribution, and like the original armor values. Holy moly. I forgot how complicated these damage calculations are. I don't know if I need the set. I might not. This dot armor equals maps dot new hash map. Boom. Don't need this set armor nonsense. Get that it out of here. So calc dot set new armor values map. Don't need that anymore. And then for each armor map, we have to do calc. Oh my Jesus. Calc dot get armor dot put this whole thing where we merge all this nonsense together. All we're doing is putting everything together. And then this... Wait, but we need this thing. I don't want to call it twice. Because that would be bad. Armovels. Lovely. Okay, so now everything seems good there because we classify it, we do all of this stuff, that's fine. We get all the damaging types in the damage map. Then we get all the possible damage types that are not in the thing, and then we remove those types from the armor classification because it's not relevant, and then we add up all those armor values, combine them all together, merge them based off of everything, and then, we're good. And now that seems pretty good. So now we just have to do this one. And then we're good. Well, not really. My brain hurts. And then we need to leave this the way it is, right? And then we classify defenses. Yeah, this is used 1.5 billion places. So get me combat context, calc.getContext, and then we do context, classify based on that context, if present, get the enchantments based off this context, and if the enchants have Slice Strike, and all this other nonsense is relevant, then we do... I need the results builder too. Let me just get rid of this. Boom. Results that has immunity. Awesome. And then for each resistance in the defense, if we have brute force, then we compute for each resistance, we remove any brute force amount, and then we do the resistance calculation, and then if the resist is greater than 0, after all that stuff is said and done, then we do results that has resistance. Otherwise, if all of that is relevant, we do results that has weakness. Then we get the mob resistances of us. Of us? Yeah, of us. Yeah, that makes sense. We get our mob resistances. We check to see if they're adaptive, and we fire and everything. Again, using this context, and then this, and then this. There's no other calls to this here, so it's fine. And then the resistances and the immunities and stuff. And then we switch on the result, and if default, we do that. If allow, so yeah. If default and it doesn't have reserve resistance, we break. Otherwise, we go here, we do this, we update that, and then we set the adaptive amount to the temp. We do that stuff. And we get the fighter. If it's a player, then we sync it, and we break, and then the results with amount, do that, and then boom. Last results equals results.build. Yay, look at that. We did it. I think we did it. I think so. We've used this, we've used this, we've used this, we haven't used this, we haven't used this, we don't need this. This is nonsense. We've used this, right? Yeah. And I think we've used this too, in the same situations. Yeah. We set type, we haven't used get type yet. And we haven't used the get armor. Oh wait, no, we have used the get armor. We haven't used this technically. Right, so there's still that we need to figure out. Now these deprecated methods, I don't know if I can get rid of them yet, actually. Because we still have stuff that we need to do here. Not as much, but there's still some stuff. Everything seems fine there. And alright, here we get it. We handle the attack stage and we do the on attack callback. This is where some stuff comes in. This, we handle the hurt stage, we get the incoming damage, and then we map it to all of this stuff. That's fine. The incoming damage, that has not been made, that has not been deprecated. Event.set amount, and then we need this set damage reference to that amount. So this is taking a map, and it's summing up all the damage values. Taking out anything that's NaN. I map it to the float value, and then if present, we do that, and then it wants to set the damage reference. Why do you want to set the damage reference? what I could do, instead of doing it like that, what I could do here is I could do ct.getCurrent calculation dot. I mean, it would exist, right? Wouldn't it need to exist? Because we've gotten the incoming damage. Wherever that is. Yeah, we get the current calculation and we map it. If it exists, we're doing that. So it exists. So we can do a .get .set damage F, probably. Yeah, so we don't need that anymore. And then this shit. And then this shit. The armor mods, that's easy, right? So, blah, blah, blah. We have a stack. We need to set up this stuff, this armor mods. Combat calculations. What do you do? You do this, if present. This is armor values, and then we can just do this thing. We can just apply armor modification. Go here. What are you doing? Don't do that. Document this. This makes sense. That's what we want, right? Yeah. That needs to be the change. Now, we have to go here. Oh, we also need a void remove. What the heck? Uh, link, I guess. This. where upon the original, the old values will be restored. Restored. Good. Boom. All right. Isn't it great? Okay, so now we have to go, I'm gonna go down to, I guess here. Apply armor modifiers. Right? Yeah. So I need to do this dot armor mods dot push the delta. Then does this even return anything? It returns itself. Why? Whatever. Apply new armor modifier. Where is this? And this dot get fighter dot get attribute map dot get attribute instance for the modifier type. Oh, Scheiße. I need an enum, dude. I need an enum. Then I can iterate over the whole thing, and it'll be brilliant. Wait, I literally already have this. Never mind. I don't need shit. Except I do. Except I don't. You think I need shit? Wrong. Iterator float. Values equals the delta dot iterator. That's right. It's iterable. I'm a genius. And then I also need an iterator. I don't know, like an on I attribute. Attribute modifier collections dot armor attribute. Oh no, we can't have an iterator. Wait, yeah, we can. We just need to call some. We just need to do some magic. Dot for array. See, look at me. I'm a genius. Boom. Import that. Right, and then it's like while. I guess I can even do. It's fine. While values dot has next. It's guaranteed to have two values, so it's fine. We do this dot get fighter dot get entity attribute attributes dot next dot I might actually hold on. I might need more than that. This is the modifier record. I do have the arm modifiers too, so then just like do that. Just get a third iterator. Modifier record. Record. Wait, don't tell me it's like package private. I'm gonna stab someone if it is. No, you're wait, no, you're not. You're public. Because you're within an interface. You're 100% public. Don't lie to me. I might want to change it to an enum, though, because it might be a little bit easier. What do you mean you don't know? Oh, wait, yeah, get rid of that. Okay, so check this. I am genius level. I get this, 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 I get this. Right, because I applied the delta. What the heck is 0? Is 0 the operation? 0 is the operation. That makes sense. It might be better to have this as an enum, and be real. Oh my gosh, dude, type. We'll deal with this in a second. I guess that's all it needs. All it needs is those. I don't need this. Deprecate that. Deprecate that entire thing. Wow, that's a lot of shit. But the enum provides a nice infrastructure that I can use here. There's an apply modifier thing. There should be a string for get name. So I can do a blah, blah, blah. I need the any living base this is being applied to. And then if I need to apply a multiplication thing, then I can just overload it. But I'm not gonna overload it right now. Actually, I might as well int up. And then have a default void apply modifier. And that's 0. There we go. That's fine. Now, we need that, and then I attribute, get attribute. Target dot get entity attribute, this dot get attribute dot remove modifier. I think here we remove the modifier based off the UUID. Yeah, we remove it based off the UUID. Okay, that's fine. This dot get UUID. All right. And now we applying the modifier is target dot get entity attribute this dot get attribute dot apply modifier new attribute modifier. Wait for the auto completion because it's going to take an eternity. This dot get name amount up. All right, and then this just implements DDD attribute modifier. Oops. Throw all that there, and now we just have to do this, right? So this is going to be, boom. Don't need you anymore. You're also gonna take this as the name. And then you're gonna take this. And you will take this. You will also take this. And last but not least, you'll take these. Alright. Don't need this anymore. Don't need this. Don't need this. Don't need that. Don't need that. And now we just add the implementations. The get attribute should return this dot attribute. The get name should return this dot get name. And the getUID should return this .uuid. See, and isn't that beautiful? Now we can just iterate over this, right? And better yet, what we can also do is we can just do an abstract void apply modifier. Actually, we don't even need to. We can just have a private final. Is there no object to float thing? Oh, it's object to float function. Eh. Maybe it's not worth it. It should be protected. Protected abstract float, extract value, armor values, avals. Right, we have this. And then we could do a public void apply modifier. And this is the, yeah, we need the ELB. What are you doing? Do the thing. And then the armor values. This dot, and then we do this dot apply modifier, and we do this one. We pass a target, and then we do this dot extract value from the values. And then it doesn't matter the order, or like order agnostic, because it'll just we will specify how this works. Right? And then we will return avals dot get armor, and then we will return avals dot get toughness. Beautiful. Okay. Lucky ducky. Where are you called? First aid event handler. Uh-huh. We instead do this dot if getName dot equals name, then we return optional dot of you. Don't need this anymore. Get this shit out of here. And then we don't need you anymore. Beautiful. And then if I have more modifiers that I ever need to apply, I can expand upon this by just creating more attribute modifiers implementations, and then this would just check against it. And then I just iterate over this thing, right? Wait, I don't need that. I need 4 armor modifiers. I might need DDD attribute modifier collections dot armor modifiers mod in DDD attribute modifier collections dot armor modifiers dot values. And then we do mod dot apply modifier. This dot get fighter, and we pass them the delta. It's literally that simple. And now the remove our modifiers is going to I guess iterate and do like the same thing. No, not value of, values. Mod dot remove modifier on this dot get fighter. What's the problem up here? Oh, well, then do the thing. You're fine. Okay, so now we have mixed in to the wherever it is. We have mixed into the combat tracker. Right? And so I wonder if it makes sense to put another inject here. I don't know. It could. What about the last results? It doesn't have the shield thing. Yeah. Okay, so if I take the damage, let's say I remember the last shield distribution, right? I wonder if I need to do that, actually. That might be the wrong way of going about it. Actually, I don't know. Let me see. So when we're set on fire, what I want to know is maybe we don't use the combat tracker. Maybe we just extract the shield directly. Given that they're holding it up. What I'm curious about is, what if you're just spontaneously set on fire? Just because? In that context, the shield shouldn't be applicable, right? Because you just spontaneously set on fire for no reason. But how do I know if you were just randomly spontaneously set on fire? Or you're like blocking something? It would be dependent on the shield calcs, right? I wonder if it makes more sense to like try and remember the last used shield distribution, or if it makes more sense to try and figure out what the current shield distribution is. Because if I try and remember it, I can go into the combat tracker that I've mixed into and, you know, do this. Like inject into like reset or something. Maybe that's what the clear can do on this combat tracker. We remember this until we're cleared again, and then that's gone. Right? In which case, we don't deprecate this. We go here. It's probably still currently used shield distribution. And then we return optional of nullable of this dot shield dist. And then the combat calculation doesn't actually need the shield distribution. It doesn't need this. Because why would it? And then we go here. And we set this dot shield dist to be U. And then we do this dot get shield, currently is shield distribution. We leave that the way it is. But then what if you get hit by things and the shield, there's like multiple shield distributions involved? Well, there wouldn't be multiple shield distributions involved. Right, you wouldn't be able to have multiple shield distributions involved. Because you're either holding up the shield or you're not holding up the shield. It's that simple. And for each one, it fires it. Well, okay, let's say I am hit. I have shield up. It's applicable. And then before calculation is finished, I take damage again. And in that damage I'm taking again, the shield distribution should not be applicable. It shouldn't be able to apply it. I can't do this. Oh my gosh, this is so tricky. I need to figure out when to pop it. I can't pop it here. I could. I could. I could. Yeah, I could. Or damage calculation. And then everything should be based off of the last calculation. when we push a new calculation, this dot last calc should be the calc, right? No, 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 no. Don't do that. We're gonna do this. Okay, I need to remember this dot calculations dot pop. Yeah, it should always be safe to pop. And I actually do need the shield distribution. We had the shield distribution here. Combat tracker, go to here. Calc.set shield distribution to you. And do calc.get shield distribution. And we do all that, right? And then this we actually don't need. There's going to be a currently used shield distribution. This dot get current calculation dot map. Well, it would be a flat map. Flat map. Damage calculation. Get shield dist. Okie doke. And then I need a get last calculation. Okay, and we got that, right? And then we have get last calculation. It should return optional dot of nullable this dot last calc. All right. I'm gonna copy this documentation over to the combat calculation. Or the damage calculation. Whatever. What is this even for? Oh, was damage classified. I don't know if I need this. That would probably just go here. Uh, damage calculation. Blah. All right, we're getting places, I think. Oops. That's fine. There is no set for that, lovely. Because there's no business there's no business for there to be. I don't need that. This doesn't need to be default. This can just be this. I'm gonna take this though and put this in clear here. Just so that I have it. I might not need clear. Clear might be pointless. Okay, a lot of the bloat here has been cut down, which is good. Don't need this, don't need this, don't need this, don't need this. Don't need any of that. And don't need that. And now you're all pointless. And you too. And you too. And what if it gets canceled? Right now we have to think about that. Oh yeah, there's also this. CT apply armor modifiers. Oh wait, no. CT remove armor modifiers. And then we do CT apply armor modifiers and we pass in the new avals as the delta. And then we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need this, we don't need these. And we clean it up. Beautiful. Okay, so like that's good, but get recent results. It returns that, but that doesn't build off the current results. Okay, so that's all fine and dandy, but now it's on you. How do you... Oh, you still have that. You probably don't need that. Maybe? I don't know. Where is this used? Right. That's used there, and it's used on hurt. Now, the first state living damage... Surely that's not done after it's popped, right? That wouldn't make sense. That doesn't... Yeah, it doesn't make sense that it would get popped. Because that would happen before the clear anyway, so... Yeah. We only want to get it for the current calculation. That, so far, everything is making sense. Kind of. Sort of. Maybe. I thought I'd be doing mod compat today, and it turns out I'm instead just spending forever looking at this, so... That's lovely. Oh, and then I completely forgot. Oh my gosh, dude, I completely forgot. The remove modifiers. I need to pop the armor mods and apply them. Right, pop returns the old one. Well, okay, what if there's nothing well, there should always be something pushed. Yeah. This dot armor mods dot pop. Right, and then we want to take a look at what's on the stack. If there's nothing on the stack, then we don't do anything, right? Dot armor mods dot peak. I guess we don't want to peak if it's empty. What about getting the current calculation? Oh, okay, yeah. Right. Armor values, restored values is going to be this dot armor mods dot empty. Or can I just do element? Oh, yeah, that's... That doesn't work. We do is empty. If it's empty, then you're null. Otherwise, you're this dot armor mods dot peak. And then we remove the modifier, and then we do if. I'd like to only check once, you know? But I have no way. Oh, and I also can't apply modifiers if it already exists. So if mod is not null, then, sorry, not mod, restored values. If restored values is non-null, then we mod dot apply modifier. This dot get fighter and restored values. If it's not null. But here we have to, so we remove apply, right? So we have to do a remove apply right here as well. Here we don't have to like pop anything off or anything. Does this void? Oh wait, yeah, it returns itself. Yeah, that's right. We are aware of that. So if we probably want to push afterwards, right? If this dot armor mods dot is empty, so if it's non-empty, then we need to mod dot remove modifier this dot. What are you doing? Right, remove the modifier off them if it's there. Otherwise, we apply. Right, and then we push it onto the stack. Then we pop it off the stack, retrieve the next values on top of the stack if there are any, and then if we got something, then first we remove, and then we apply the next one. But if there is nothing, then we don't apply anything, we just remove it. That's what I forgot to do there. Okay, good. That fixes that problem. That should fix the whole thing. pushed the damage calculation. And then this one we pop, but we keep the reference to it. But I can't always keep it. Right? At some point, I need to clear this. And I'm thinking I do that in here. Like, I inject into, like, reset or whatever. I don't know. I probably need to inject into a tick. And then just, like... I don't know. See, here's the tricky thing. There's no event which is fired right at the end of everything. Just take a look at this, right? This zombie, if it attacks an entity as a mob, it does this. Where is this called, actually? That might... Yeah. This super is... right in entity mob. Right, and then where is this called? Where is this thing called? Probably in the check and perform attack, right? Because that's how you know, and that's how you know to attack them as a mob. But then it does this. Then there's all this nonsense. Which is fine, and then it applies all this knockback and all this other stuff. But there's no, like, one attack calculation thing. That's the problem. Which means there's no way to know how long I should remember this last calculation. And so I think the best way to do it is to just... Thank you for the follow! Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. I think I want to save this. I think basically I want to remember it for as long as possible, but then determine if it's like relevant. Right? Determine if it's relevant by having like a ticks, like timestamp it. There we go. That's the word. Timestamp it. Timestamp this on when I remember it. And then I get a delta, right? I get a delta from when I last timestamped it and when I want to use it. And if it exceeds a certain threshold, then I just, I do the thing. Alright, so this last calculation should have an int. And we have an at param. Only if the calculation was finished, no longer than at code, no longer valid after. I can't do that lovely. Ticks ago. There you go. Okay, we do that, right? Get the last damage calculation it produced, but only if the calculation was finished no longer valid after ticks ago. Or if it is no longer valid. There we go. Okay, so now I timestamp it. Int last calc time. Right, and then we go to here, and then this is int no longer valid after ticks. And then we do if this.getFighter.ticks existed minus this.lastCalcTime. If it's less than or equal to no longer valid after ticks, put this in here. Otherwise, return an empty optional. Boom. Okay. That makes sense. We always remember the last calculation, but then we have to specify when we want to retrieve it under which time frame it should actually be valid. Because when determining whether blocking the attack here should set you on fire, right? Based off of this information, if the last calculation that this shield was used on was like 500 ticks ago, it's not relevant. It's not important. Right? Because I could imagine a situation where I block an attack with a shield that could reduce fire ticks by like a decent amount, and then just like walk around after having blocked with that shield and have that like fire tick deduction always be applied when I get set on fire because it was the last shield distribution I used. But it should only be within like 10 ticks. Right? If the mob has existed for, 10 more ticks, or let's say 11 more ticks than like the last calculation, then that's like half a second. And shield should no longer be applicable at that point. Do I need an at? I think I need an at unique annotation here. I probably want an at unique annotation here. I probably want another at unique annotation with another private static final int. I guess it's like tick delta. And that's going to be 10. Now, I don't know. I don't think this is necessary anymore. Where are you called? You're literally only called there. Well, guess what, buddy? I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna go into the damage calculation, wherever that is, right here. And on the get shield distribution, we're gonna put that there. Then I am going to get rid of you. You're not necessary. You are sort of. I mean, you're necessary. You're necessary. We'll leave you. Armor classification, are you necessary? Oh yeah, 100% necessary. I mean, is it though? Because I could just get the current calculation and get the armor classification. Because that's what this does anyway. This type last hit by, this has a purpose. Actually, does it even? I don't even think this needs to exist. I don't know if this one needs to exist. I don't know if this needs to exist. I don't know if this needs to exist. Well, okay, I'll probably leave that one. But I don't know if this needs to exist. That, yes, that, yes, that, yes. That, yes? Where are you used? Oh, there, yeah, last combat contact. Wait a second. That's a bunch of baloney. No, you're not necessary either. We don't need to remember the last combat context, because we already remember the last combat context, so remember the last calculation. Because we have the last calculation, everything is fine. Everything is pointless. Deprecate this, because this is all remembered in the last calculation. This I'm not too sure about. Deprecate that. Don't deprecate that, we need that obviously. And we don't need this. I will leave this, because that is useful. I guess. And we don't need this either. Deprecate this thing. Wow, look at that. And we don't need that either. Because that would be in the... Like, it's not relevant. If the last calculation's, like, not relevant or whatever. Because we're not remembering this thing anymore. Like, this is pointless. Now, this does remind me that there is something I need to do. deprecate that. That does remind me that there's something to do. I can't just pop this and just pretend like nothing's a... Well, actually... No, I can. I can just pop it. Because nothing needs to be remembered. I don't need to... Yeah, okay. All this stuff, deal with. You... Tracker dot get last calculation. Why do I need to do it like this? This is really weird. Wouldn't it make a lot more sense to do ddd api.accessor.get ddd combat tracker elb dot if present and then just have a consumer that operates on this tracker here? Considering I don't modify it at all. And then we put the tick delta here. Oh, get last calculation, tick delta dot get, or, oh yeah, dot map, damage calculation, get field distribution. I need a flat map it actually. Boom. Do I even need to do that? Why don't I just boop and then dot if present again and then work on the dist. And then, oh, because we need to return the value. Okay. That's fine, just map it. Return this, and instead of if present, just map it. And then we want to map this to mod config.resist.shieldfire rule.alter fire ticks. Boop, 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 boop. Mod config.resist.shieldfire rule.alter fire ticks. Dist. And what are you, tracker? Get recent results. Look at that. And then this is just what we return. Just return this. What are you? Oh, what? You're an int. Oh, wait. Can I map to int? Please let me map to int. That would be great. Can I map to int? No, I can't. Can I stream on the optional? No, that's a later thing. That's lovely. Or else. Oh, there should be a flat map? What's up? What's up? What's up? From int to optional object. Can't infer type arguments. I'm not even assigning you to shit. Oh, but you just return int. No, this should just be a regular map, not a flat map. Regular map. I like how it can't tell me what it's supposed to be. Dot or else ticks. Optional integer. Wait, why is it optional integer? Combat tracker dot map. Oh, flat map. Flat map this. Flat map that to get last calculation dot flat map dot up. Optional integer. Dot or else, and then we return the ticks because we don't do anything. And then we return that. And then you're not used, so I don't need you. And then I don't need you. And there we go. Dot flat map. Dot flat map. Dot map. Dot or else. Okay, good. We just take it and we map it through a bunch of values, and there we go. We're good. Okay, so now you are that. What do you even do? Oh, you set the return value. Okay. So I need to do ct dot get last calculation, but I need a tick delta as well. Private static final int tick delta. That should be. We'll set that to like 30, or maybe even like 50. All right, and then we will do ct dot get last calculation from tick delta, and then what I need to do is dot flat map, I think, to damage calculation get type. Is this, is it, no, oh, it's not even an optional. Well, wait, what if it's not set? You fool! Because it might not be set. And in that context, I don't want to be doing anything like that. We flat map it. Now we have an optional DDD damage type, and then we flat map it to here. To all of this nonsense, except we need the last combat context, except we also don't. Wait, better idea. Okay, ct.get last calculation dick delta dot if present calc. I think I need another thing here. Yeah, and then I do calc. Calc dot get type dot flatmap. Right, and then I do calc dot get context dot get source dot get true source, blah blah blah. That seems decent. That seems decent. What other situations do we have? First aid integration. Let's see, what's up with you? Oh, wow. Aren't you a thing? Can I do arrays dot to list or as list? There we go. As list, and then we do armor modifiers mod. Come on, you can do it. No, I need to get this DDD attribute modifier collections dot armor modifiers dot values, not value of, values dot for each. And then I'm gonna refactor this to mod. Yeah, I don't care. Oh no, there's another mod. Modifier. You know what? Whatever. Hold on. Unname this stuff. All right, because we wanna make sure we have this right. This is going to be modifier. There we go. This is going to be a get attribute. Get name. And then we have that whole thing. Now this is being done in calculation for the registering and armor modifier injector. So this can be ct.get current calculation dot map to damage calculation get armor classification. Boom. Okay, now we get the armor classification. And then for each one, we do all of this. Okay, so that's, you're fine now. And then I need to dot get current calculation dot map damage calculation. Get new delta armor values, and then do that. What is your dysfunction? I guess flat map? No, that wouldn't make a difference. Okay. Did we have the current calculation? And I want to map it. It's a damage calculator. What do you mean? Oh wait, that's because this is not a thing. This is just get armor. Hello. Do all of that. Yay, okay. FF no, let's get default. Get modifier for that dot float value. Why don't I just do... Wait, what do you even do? Attributes. Oh, because I already have the attribute map. I see. The armor modifiers dot armor dot get UUID. Just do this. It's fine. No need to overcomplicate this. Modifiers dot toughness dot get UUID. Let's go. And then we do all of that. Okay. And toughness cannot be resolved or is not a field. No kidding. This is going to be armor modifiers dot toughness dot get attribute dot get name. Bada boom. And then you don't need to exist. Damage calculation, that's going to be ct.get current calculation dot what are you doing? Dot get. All right, do that. Then set you to calc, and then set you to calc dot get armor. But what if there are no such values? Yeah, what if it's not set, buddy? Because there is a situation where it's not set, right? Back up here or something. Classify armor. if present, we set the new armor value map. So, it might not exist. You should be optional. Our modifiers dot values dot map to double. Boop 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 boop. Okay. And then this is no longer valid because you need to be a flat map. And then you're no longer valid. But I can just get you. It's safe because I literally just set you here. Oh, and I don't need you anymore. Okay. And then this will be CT dot, or no, this is going to be calc dot get delta armor. And then if present, we're going to modify all of it in that way. And then we apply the armor modifier. Okay, and this is called here. And we don't need this. So, now that you're not even used, boop, 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 boop. And then I go to here, and I remove the clear. Boop, boop, boop. Oh, and I need to deal with the changes to the type here. Calc.setType. Put this here. We don't need to reference that. You are used nowhere. I stand corrected. This dot get current calculation. Maybe even just get last calculation. Get last calculation from, like... It doesn't even matter. Nothing needs to be saved here. Arguably, it doesn't even need to be serialized, but we have it as a capability because it's easier. No, I don't want to do that. That's not even worth it. Okay. Nothing to do. Let's just leave it like that. No, I don't want to know about deprecation. That's not the point. Alright, you're deprecated. I need to take you over to the damage calculation. Under set type. And then you're just pointless. And I don't need you anymore. And then this needs to go to when we're getting the armor classification. And then go to, not the damage calculation. Butte. Don't need this anymore. All right, it works. Well, I mean, we're done with the changes, I think. All right. Everything seems pretty good. That was a lot just to get all of this up and running. But in theory, it comes in here, it pushes a new damage calculation. When necessary, it pushes a new damage calculation. Right? If it's empty, it obviously pushes a new calculation. If it's not empty, but the context matches our current calculation, then we don't create a new calculation. We just update that one. which is definitely a way of doing it. Now, what happens if the event gets canceled? Like, what if this gets canceled? I mean, we are trying to listen to it, so that's fair. We're listening at like really high priority. So if this happens, then we should be able to respond first and remove the stuff and do everything that needs to be done and finish up our calculations. That is pretty fair. Okay. Okay. Then all of our calculations should be pretty good. All right. Well, I ran out of time to test this, but we will test it next time, and hopefully it works. I'm gonna very quickly, I don't need this type hierarchy anymore. I'm gonna very quickly bop the version. And then I just want to make sure it like builds correctly. If it builds, then we're fine. And then we can work on everything else. All right, let's just make sure this builds. I'm going to delegate the testing to future me because it sounds like it could be a nightmare, and I really don't want to, because I have to test that this system works in general, normally. I then have to test to make sure it works with quality tools and with first aid to make sure that that didn't break in the process. And then I actually then have to test it with champions that have reflecting traits and like stuff like that to make sure it doesn't actually crash and that it actually applies the context, like it nests the calculations. And assuming that all of that works, then we're good. However, that sounds like a nightmare. Because if it doesn't work, I then have to figure out why it's not working and fix it. And that sounds like a pain in the ass. And I think my plan is going to be to run 1.7.1, test these calculations, like test the calculations with quality tools, test the calculations with whatever, first aid, all that other stuff, get a baseline, then use this 1.8 version, check to make sure that the values are consistent, because then that means that everything works. Yeah. Anyway, now that all of that is done, I'm going to probably wrap it here. This was very good. Next week, we will do some of that testing. I might not have time to do it throughout this week. So yeah, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Anyway, thank you everyone who is new, who came by and checked it out. Thank you everyone who's just hanging out, having me on in the background or whatever. It's always appreciated, and always nice having you all here. With that, I'm gonna get going. I'm gonna be back tomorrow with more compact claustrophobia, and I don't know about Thursday or Friday. I will know more about that on Wednesday, probably. All right. Perf.